This is a Faber-Castell 9002B. Can it deliver pro results? Let's find out by drawing a blue jay on this Strathmore 200 series sketch paper. This blue jay was created using just one pencil, the Faber-Castell 9002B. In this video, I discuss my first impressions, a real-time detailed review by drawing with it, and exactly how it performed from start to finish. Alright, so let's see what this little thing can do here. I'm drawing a blue jay, and what's really cool about this blue jay picture is that in composition, there are a few basic shapes that you can use to create interest and draw your eye, and the person that took this photograph did it perfectly, and I don't even know if they meant to, but the blue jay has like this S shape coming down, which is very appealing to the composition. And things like X's and triangles, circles, like the shape of the composition is just as important how much weight, if your eye is drawn this way or that way or whatever. So this is really cool. I'm gonna just shut my yapper and start getting to work on this guy. Hopefully I do okay. Let's find out. So he's similar to the cardinal that I drew, in the way that his head has this like spikiness back here, right? And so when you come right about here, it sort of does this shoulder-ish thing. It kind of comes down and around, and that's that S part I'm talking about. It kind of comes down this way. It's got a lot of interlocking, beautiful feathering in this picture. Just going for that. Again, I'm just trying to get the shapes locked down before I do any detailing. So far, so good in terms of the pencil. There's really beautiful tail feathers coming off here. Really cool. And then his belly comes underneath. His chest comes out right about here, and his belly comes underneath. So right about there. His feet stick out right here. They all have very similar structures of claws, which is cool to draw. I'm saying makes it easier to draw them. His foot is sort of like on the branch this way. Just getting his footing down, and he has that, like I said, that sharpness to his head is interesting. It's like he's got like a little it's almost like his head is his hair, if you will, is whipped back, kind of cool. So he has that front piece here. And he's got these. I guess they do refer to this as hair. Interestingly, I was looking it up, and I wasn't sure about that. I wasn't sure if it's considered hair or feathering, but I guess it is a type of hair-like structure. This is a much darker feeling pencil. This is somewhere in between the 2B from the Mars Lumograph Black. It kind of feels like it sits between these two pencils here, just for the record. This one has more of a almost charcoal black to it, and this one is a sort of a, I don't know, almost like a writing, almost like a number 2 HB almost feeling, even though it's 2B. I mean, it's darker than an HB, but it just feels, it's definitely lighter than that black version. This one seems to be a little darker, a little bit scratchier feeling, and that depends on if you like that or not. I'm just trying to get his eye positioned. Nerves are acting up a little bit today, so hopefully I can draw decently. All right, there's the blackness around his eye there. Okay, cool. His feathering is what makes him really intense looking to me, but just wanted to get him kind of close. Put a little bit of beadiness in his eye there, a little reflection. When I'm done, I'm gonna see how far I can really push the darkness of his eye and stuff. There's some shading here. Well, it's dark here. There's some reflection on his beak right about here, so I'm just running with that, and there we go. Yeah, it's not grabbing the tooth quite the same as the other ones. Not in a bad way. It's just different. Just trying to make some of that hair show up on his face. It kind of runs with the direction of his face like this, up to his beak. And then he's got that black, goes all the way up to his eye, around his nose. Or his beak, not his nose. And then this is a really beautiful blue. I'm going to leave this kind of white because there's quite a bit of it in here. There's like texturing and the way that his fur is, but it is quite white in comparison. And of course, this is jet black here. So I'm a little jumpy today. Yeah, that's really cool. And then it has like a separation here. There's a little bit of light blueness back here, but this is like jet black here. So when I'm done, I'm going to try to get this a little bit darker, but that's the point too, is I'm trying to see how far I can push this pencil for their darkness, because I'm curious of what the best overall drawing pencil is for my needs. And I'm just drawing birds because I don't draw them enough. I mean, I feel like sometimes I feel like I've drawn 1,000 birds, and then I look back at stuff I've drawn and I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't do that many. I'm trying to force myself to go a little further. His feathering is a little, I'm going to pull this back a little. I try not to erase too much, but I kind of overdid that. It sort of rounds off like this. And this is super black too. So, and then he has this little sharp point here. Kind of like, again, it reminds me of like a cat, how they have that pointedness to that point, that line that comes behind their head, kind of terminates behind them, like right behind their ear, and it goes into their fur or their backside or whatever. He looks bird-like so far. And this is like roof tile looking to me. I'm going to try to do something like that, like Spanish tile, if that makes any sense. This one is here. It's a little off angle from what I can see. It's It's not terrible though. So we'll just run with it. So all of this is very, very pretty, like tight. Again, it's more like fur than it is, or hair than say like feathering up here. That's just how I'm seeing it. And again, my friend is quite the avian expert, and I am not. He's an ornithologist in his spare time of interest, I suppose. So yeah, if he likes when I draw a bird that he thinks it looks good, then I'm like, cool, that's not too bad. There is some shading here. Well, darker blue, I should say. The thing that makes these birds so striking is their color patterns, and so I'm trying to keep that value the same much as I can with just a pencil. Good practice, you know. That's why drawing class, and you start there, you don't have anything more than a pencil. Not a bunch of different grades either. You just start with like an HB, or at least that's how we did. We were required to just use one pencil to start. It's a little bit more dominant like that. Yeah. And then he's got these other feather tucked underneath here, and then this one is white, and it's got kind of effect going on. That's pretty cool. I don't mind it too much. He's a lot more intricate in his pattern. Like it looks like mosaic tile, the way that his feathers are kind of interlocking here. Really cool. This one is really white. I'm just gonna try to leave it that way. The rest of these I'm gonna just try to get a pattern down and see if I can maintain that. The point for these as well for me is to get the sketch down as quickly as possible and not stress too much about all the detail. Try to get some of that detail in there to make it look like what he looks like, but I don't like to stress too much. Just trying to get the essence of what he is and hopefully do him some justice, but also try to get it done quickly within reason. Again, this pencil is much scratchier than the other ones are. It's weird how square his pattern is. It's quite interesting. I never really noticed that before. I guess why would I? I don't really look at them that much, but still quite interesting indeed. Probably not doing him any justice, but that's okay. Drawing him anyway. This is a lot of, it's like stacked feathers like this. They get really tight, so I'm just gonna throw in some shade for it. And then there is, again, that striation because their feathers are stacked on top of each other, and it comes down. Really cool. They're really cool birds. Well, they all are, I think. Cool to look at their feathering like that and see it for what it is. Oh, there is a little bit of, I overlooked that, a little bit of white here. Right there. Well, it's not too terrible, I guess. Yeah, there's another one here. And then a stack of feathers down here. All right. And then he just has on his feathers on his tail. They're kind of lightly striated like this. I actually didn't draw that long enough. These are quite long. I'm being awful quiet, aren't I? Yeah, this is a really cool bird to draw. And again, this is out of my comfort zone too, even though I draw a lot of animals, but I don't draw birds as often. Ironically, with the Raven comic, I draw stuff like that. Like I guess that's why I think I've drawn a lot of birds, is because of the Raven, but that's not fair because it's the same bird, just different angles. I've drawn eagles, the Raven. I can't really think of any other birds off the top of my... Oh, chickadees. I've done that a lot. The duck, yeah, you're right. I always forget about the duck. But it's good practice. It's just forcing me to do stuff I don't normally do. And I guess it's more like I forget what I even want to try sometimes. I'm like everybody else, I don't always know what to draw. It's kind of funny, you start drawing and you're like, I'm going to draw all the things. And then you start drawing and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to draw. And of course, if you're drawing like comic books and stuff, you know you're drawing a lot of people. But when you first start out and you're not sure what you want to start to do, you're just like, I just want to draw. And you forget, like, why did I start drawing again? What am I trying to do? Just giving him his branch that he's sitting on. It's a really cool picture. I don't mean my drawing. I mean the bird that I'm looking at. I'm not that egotistical. Quite the opposite, I think, most of the time. I don't think I'm bad or anything, but I also don't think I'm all that. Because, I mean, if you did, what would be the point of practicing, right? I don't feel that way. Practice. Do it all the time. You get pretty good at it. I'll just refine this a little bit here. Well, that's not too terrible, considering how fast, the amount of time I spent drawing up just now. The white, there's quite a bit of white in here, but there's a lot of this dark blue up in these scales. And they're like, some of them are really, really light, and some are super dark. So I'm trying to give a hint of that. I didn't quite nail his feathering, but that's okay. This is all very white down here. Actually, I made this connection here, and really the feathers are so bright white you can't even tell that they're individual feathering. It's just like a kind of does that. I just smudge them out. Yeah, smudges nicely. 2B always tends to make a mess. Yeah, I'm just trying out different pencils and seeing, what I like. And I actually ordered a set of, I'm sure I already said this, but in case you didn't hear me, I ordered a set of Blackwing pencils, which the old masters used apparently. I'm referring to the Disney and Looney Tune animators. I got them on a whim because I was given money to spend on myself. So you have to, it doesn't need to be work stuff. Spend it on something fun. So I did. Hesitantly, my wife said, well, that's just how I am. Don't always need, I have plenty of stuff to draw with, so I don't need any more than a number 2 pencil, to be honest with you, but I just thought that'd be fun to try some of these and see how they work out and if I would recommend it. And so far, all of these pencils I would recommend to anyone. If you're like not sure which one to buy, it really is preference. I obviously but preference by L'Oreal. I can't not do it. Could always say it. So his feathering is quite nice there. Let me tighten some of this up. His white, he has like a white here. He has up here somewhere. There's one. I'm just trying to make it look interesting. There's a white. This one is sort of white. Some whiteness up in here. That looks a little more interesting. I like to think. Of course, I could have really painstakingly done this. It made it look more like what he looks like, but that's close enough. I mean, the point was to try the pencil, right? Oh, I need to do some of his darkness here. Thicken up some of, there we go. Some of that's darker. Well, there you have it. There is a Blue Jay, and it's a good pencil. I mean, what can you say? It's a little scratchier if you care about that. I don't really care. I know people complain about that, but it just feels a little bit more, a little harder than the other pencils do, but there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it draws fine. It feels good. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have much else to say besides that it is what it is. It does the job. That's all you can ask for. You gotta just kind of adjust to your art supply or whatever you're using, rather than expecting it to do miracles for you, and then you should be golden. So with that, I very much appreciate you hanging out, and if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you like these videos. I'm just trying to review one thing at a time, isolate variables as much as possible, like this paper. I'm going to do it use the same pencils on other paper to make sure, it might perform better on black drawing paper versus the white, or, I want to use it on sketch paper too, because this is sketch paper. I want to use it on a sketchbook and see how it holds up. But yes, if you're using any of these pencils, you're definitely going to want to use a fixative because it makes a mess. But otherwise, I think it is good. I'm going to use, I don't even know what I'm doing. What do I want? Let's use this Sharpie. Yes. And with that, I bid you adieu, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.